Hello there, and welcome to the Pre-Diet Podcast. I am your host, Allie Virtue, a functional medicine nutritionist and owner of Parkside Nutrition. And today we're talking about my approach when it comes to nutrition coaching. I call it the pre-diet approach because I want clients to learn more than just how to diet from me. I want them to ingrain these healthy habits to their lifestyles, so much so that they never really have to look back and they never really have to do another diet. And hopefully this leaves them not needing motivation because they feel so good. It's fun to feel good, and you're going to keep doing those things that make you feel good. See what I'm putting out there? Now, with most of these podcasts, there won't be too many visuals, but for this one, I do hopefully have a visual to the side here because I want to show you the pyramid of basically my approach with that pre-diet approach. So at the base of this pyramid is positive mindset and mindful eating. This is the base for a reason. This is the foundation. If you do something from a negative mindset, it won't last. You cannot hate yourself into being a healthy body. It just doesn't work that way. And it's not going to be one that's physically and mentally healthy. Even if you tell yourself, oh, well, I'm physically healthier because I hated myself into doing it, just doesn't last. I've been doing this for 8+ years and it doesn't work. Mindful eating means you are present and aware of how and what you are eating. How you eat your food is also really important. I have a ton of resources for this, but we'll just do a light overview on this for right now. So this is really important. Yes, we're going to probably change or modify some of the food that is on your plate, but this is also how you relearn how to eat and therefore how not to overeat, right? This is really, really important. And a lot of people will focus like, what are the calories? What are the macros? What do I need to be eating? You need to not be overeating so much, right? Macros, calories, tracking food is not very helpful if you are constantly overeating and you don't know how to stop it. So even if you are eating the healthiest food, but you're overeating, your digestion will still suffer, along with your weight management long-term, and especially your relationship with food will still not be very good. So first thing I would recommend is subscribing to the email list, parksidenutrition.com/subscribe. There you'll get instant access to a free library of a ton of resources. Some of those trainings do talk about mindful eating. They have habit trackers, how to include those things. There is also a paid mini course if you want to go that route as well. It's a whole $7. But those are going to have my best resources for that. For right now, my top tips for developing a more positive mindset at the beginning of your journey: journaling. Journaling about why you want to do this. What are you seeking? Describe it in detail. Once you have the details described, then describe that lifestyle that's going to give you those results. So this, quite often people will journal, I want to lose 15 pounds, but what is that person of yourself that wants to lose those 15 pounds? What are they doing? Are they going to the gym all the time? Because they're not just going to the gym for 6 months or whatever time period. They are a gym goer at that point. That is them living on cruise control, right? So describe those habits that are getting them to that point and maintaining it, because this is not a short-term thing if we want to maintain those results. Journal about becoming a healthier person. The goal is to eat well and exercise daily. If that is your goal, then weight loss is going to be a happy side effect. Also, talk about what you're avoiding. Again, this is not a free pass to hate yourself into a healthy body. But for me, my motivation for doing these healthy things, even if I don't feel motivated or, particularly like I want to go to the gym, that definitely still happens. But I definitely don't want to be weaker. I don't want to be prone to more injuries. I don't want to, be sick or any of those things. I want to avoid chronic disease. And those are pretty powerful motivators. And if not for yourself, think about your family. I've had a lot of families suffer with cancer, and I don't want to put my family through that. So if I can do things that can reduce my risk of having cancer, that's definitely something that I want to take advantage of. And that's a very powerful motivator as well. What will accomplishing that goal mean for you? What will that look like? These are all hopefully prompts for yourself to kind of think really critically about what am I pursuing and keep you on that path when things get hard. What are some consequences of not achieving that goal? If you're really uncomfortable now, you're probably going to be, again, really uncomfortable at that time. Write about that. How uncomfortable is that discomfort? Is it worth doing something about, or is it not that bad? An example of this is when people that are generally pretty healthy, and these are not the people I usually, if I'm honest, want to work with. They want to lean out, lose 5 pounds or something like that. Losing 5 pounds usually isn't terribly impactful on your health if everything else is going well. So it probably won't necessarily change a lot of stuff. It's not like you were super, super uncomfortable and now I feel miraculously better. that usually doesn't happen. Now, if there's some health elements in there, yeah, maybe that is a significant amount for you. But hopefully that paints a picture of like, this should really be life-changing in the sense if we are, really going after ambitious goals here. This was really powerful, this next journal prompt. Writing yourself a letter. I did this when I was really struggling with binge eating during the pandemic. And I wrote a letter effectively kind of breaking up with this old version of me that was chronically binge eating most nights. Even if it was on healthy food, it didn't matter. I didn't really know how to control that. And wrote a breakup letter, and I didn't really do it again, to be honest. I probably had some slip ups at some point, but it was a really pivotal moment. And writing that breakup letter of like, I don't do this anymore. I'm not a binge eater. It doesn't align with my values. This is no longer, a part of me or who I am. And that was really powerful. So writing yourself a breakup letter, agreement, call it a habit contract of like what you're going to do, and sign it, own it, and get to work on doing it. My next top tips for mindful eating: eat away from screens, eat away from distractions. If you're like, Allie, there's no way I can do that. I can't sit with my thoughts and eat by myself. Meet me halfway. Maybe listen to a podcast, maybe listen to some classical music or something like that. But I would really love for your eyeballs to be on your plate. That will really help you start to learn your portions, start to learn like, okay, I think I'm almost full, or I'm not really hungry anymore, especially when we start to get distracted and want to play with stuff or, scroll or reach for our phone again. I might have eaten enough. Clearly hunger is not top of priority. If I'm really hungry, I'm eating, I'm focused on that food, I'm hungry, right? So start to pay attention to your body's signals. We're quite often distracted when we're eating, we're trying to work or something like that, and we're not really paying attention to your body going, hey, I'm actually full now. You can stop eating. We miss those signals, and we really need to start paying attention to them. Another way to think about this is eating until you're almost full or no longer hungry. And it's also okay to leave food on your plate. We can let go of the clean plate club. That is not a thing. You're not wasting it. It's, if anything, it's just going to make you feel overly full after the meal. So get used to that being okay. We're also relearning our portions. Maybe you're eating more protein and maybe you're more full. Maybe you're eating more fiber, so hence you are more full more quickly. That's fine. You might find that you are more full than you thought you were and you got your portions wrong. That's totally fine. But be okay with leaving food on the plate. If you really don't want to waste it, put it in a container and have it for later. That is totally fine. So that was a lot, and that was only the first thing on the pyramid. Next up, drinking more water and getting enough sleep. You cannot out-diet poor sleep. Let that sink in. You cannot out-diet poor sleep. If you are not sleep, chronically stressed, and you are pushing the diet hard, trying to lose weight, trying to do XYZ, improve your health, sleep is so crucial for regulating our appetite, our gut health, regulating our blood sugar, recovering from workouts, building muscle, the list goes on. But make sleep a priority as much as you can. I know there are many people that suffer from having poor sleep, and it's not an easy fix, but don't forget about it. I see a lot of people focusing on the exercise, on the diet, and sleep just falls to the sidelines. Don't do that. Try to focus on getting good quality sleep. Drinking more water, hopefully this is obvious, but our cells are like the most fundamental unit of us, and they need proper hydration to function well. For me, I'm usually looking for clients to get close to half their body weight in ounces in water. So if I'm 140 pounds, aiming for about 70 ounces of water per day, more if I'm sweating, more if I'm sweating from hot weather or workouts, either. If this seems really daunting to you, look to add about 16 to 24 ounces each day. So maybe for this week, I'm at 50 ounces. And so I'm going to, aim for 70 this next week. If you feel like you're just going to be peeing all day, your body should adjust to it, but at least start adding a little bit more water in between meals as best you can. Next up, we are on the third step of the pyramid here. Stop eating when you're 80% full. I know I mentioned this. This is kind of within mindful eating, but this is a specific layer that we need to master. So 80% full. I feel like this is near expert level. So for an example, to put some numbers on it, if we were to think about the traditional American Thanksgiving, it's kind of a holiday around gorging and eating a lot. If we think about that feeling, our pants are really tight, we are really full, really uncomfortable, that is like 150% full, way past full, right? So maybe your first level is to eat to 100% full. And then once we get kind of expert level, or that's getting easier, eating to 80% full. And this is what I would describe as eating to no longer hungry. Also on this tier of the pyramid is moving with intention every day. And I do mean specifically moving every day with intention. And this is probably one of the obvious things, but I don't think people realize how little we move some days. This has become apparent when I'm working with CrossFitters or athletes, and Humans are meant to move throughout the day. So even my CrossFitters, I'm still talking to you. This is not a free pass. Go for a walk. I'm telling you, this habit has changed my life personally, plus many clients, obviously. Even when I was working really hard in the gym, going for an intentional walk daily has been an incredible habit to adopt. So we'll go into this more in a future episode, but it's great for gut health. It literally gets your guts moving. Even if you don't have a weight issue, as far as like you need the extra calorie burn or anything like that, walking also provides more circulation to your guts, and that allows more nutrition to get delivered through that healthy circulation, helping those tissues to repair, reduce inflammation, etc. I do this a lot with gut health clients that they don't have a weight loss goal or anything else. They're generally healthy besides the specific gut issue. They need to walk, and it does help their digestion a lot too. Stress reduction is huge. If we're less stressed, we eat better. It's pretty simple. Our appetite is usually more moderate as well. So eating less or eating within a calorie deficit for weight loss is usually a little bit easier when our stress is being lowered by having that walking outlet. Walking also obviously increases our energy expenditure, or the calories we're burning, without necessarily spiking hunger or stress hormones. And this is really, really critical when we're trying to lose weight. I see a lot of people trying to burn the candle at both ends when they're trying to lose weight by dieting really hard, so underfueling severely, and then they really push it in the gym, and that makes the diet really hard to stick to. Walking usually doesn't exacerbate the equation too much, but is still very effective. One little note here: being on your feet all day is not the same as adding short but intentional walks. This is not meant to offend anyone, but try this out. So next time you have a really busy day at home, maybe you're gardening, maybe you're doing some projects around the house, you're on your feet, you're busy all day, look at your step counter. It doesn't always add up to a lot of steps versus if I have a day that I work, and so I'm sedentary most of the day, but I go for a walk in the morning and walk in the evening, I'm going to get more steps typically. So yes, we want to build in active days and have, days that we're just naturally moving around the house. That's great. But just take a look at how many steps you actually get. It can be quite eye-opening, and even just a 15-minute walk, 30-minute walk on those days that we're not specifically like exercising or going to the gym it can be really eye-opening. I know this was for me. So just keep that in mind. And that's, again, why I'm such a big fan of building in walks as a regular habit, because that does just naturally increase our energy expenditure, plus all those other benefits that I just mentioned. Next step on the pyramid: eating more whole foods, less ultra processed foods or sugar, junk food, all of that. Keep it simple. Don't get overly, consumed by all the details as far as what you should be eating. Try to cook at home more. Try to have just basic whole food ingredients, nothing crazy fancy. If you do need some quick meals and you think that fast food is your only option, I challenge you to, again, subscribe to the Free Shit Friday emails. Once you do, you get instant access to that library, and there is a list on there of quick but healthy options for food, some of which are catered to the Salem area, but most are local chains, grocery stores. It has a list of either quick meals that you can make at home or quick meals you can grab from the grocery store. Huge list as far as, helping you out in that particular scenario. Next thing, exercising with intention 3 to 5 times per week. Intentional is key. Active days are great, again, but I would really prefer to see active workouts 3 to 4 times per week that are helping us get stronger for the things we need to do in everyday lives. So ideally for longevity, I recommend walking every day, lifting weights or some form of resistance training at least 3 times per week to help us build muscle, which is our metabolic organ that keeps our metabolic rate higher, and bone mass. Bone mass goes down after a certain age, and that is really hard to build if we're not doing any of those resistance type of training. So really make that a priority if you are starting these new habits. I love it when life gives us a natural workout, but I do want to be able to do a lot of those generally active things. So my lifestyle includes a lot of, farm chores, horse chores, things like that, lifting hay bales, doing physical labor on our property. And I want to have the confidence in my body that it is strong, it is capable to do those things. So I need to be training harder than that on a regular basis, so those things are well within my capabilities. So have a think. What does your training need to look like? Some examples that I've come up with clients is they really like to hunt. So they probably should look at rucking, which is walking with a weight vest or a heavy pack, and lifting a couple times a week. That is similar to what they want to do in life. I ride horses, so lifting, some sort of stretching or other flexibility thing, and some cardio all work well with horses. So keeping in mind what you need to do. It also doesn't have to be a sport. So if you want to play with your kids, play with your grandkids, how much do your kids weigh? I mean, if life comes down to it, I mean, I need to lift my kids or grandkids or something like that. So I need to be strong for a really long time so I can lift them if there were an emergency or if they fall or whatever it is. Like, that is something that I want to be well within my capabilities. All right, we're almost to the top of the pyramid. Stick with me here. Balanced meals with protein, vegetables, and fat. Just the simple basics, because simple is sustainable. Sometimes those meals can feel boring, but that's okay. Number one, your taste buds will change over time. As you change what you eat, your tastes and preferences can also change. Boring is easy though. Simple works. Not every meal has to be a celebration with firework display, right? You need to pay your mortgage. You need to pay your rent with the money that you earn first, right? You pay your bills first before you go shopping on Amazon, I hope, right? That's pretty much the same with nutrition. I want you to pay your nutrition bills. Your body, you're essentially kind of paying your rent in your body. Like, hey, body, thank you for doing all the things for me. I still want to be healthy. I still want to do all these things. Here's some good nutrition to reduce inflammation, to combat the stress I put you through. Pay your nutrition bills first before you go buying the fun stuff, right? We'll dig into these specifics a little bit more in other episodes, but like what should be on your plate, tons of resources like that in that library again. So definitely check that out as well, but we'll be digging into that more later. Macros and diets. All right, we are at the top of the pyramid. The pyramid has 7 levels. I will again try to either put this next to me on this video, put it on YouTube, or at least link this in the description. You can kind of get the visual. Also, clients have put this as their literal background on their phone as a reminder of like, am I doing the things? Am I sticking to the basics? Am I super consistent with the basics? If you want that, I can provide that as well. But macros, diets, tippy top of this pyramid. This is the sexy stuff, okay? This is where nutrition nerds just absolutely geek out, but this is at the top for a reason. You have to have the fundamentals down first. Like I said, you can't out diet poor sleep. You really need to keep all of this within context of other things. Many diets work, but often they aren't sustainable for that person. A professional who's relatively unbiased, hopefully, in their approach can guide people to the approach that best fits their needs. If you are a very active individual, for example, but you don't have blood sugar issues, a low carb diet probably is not the best match for you. Will it work to lose weight? Maybe. It just might not be the best fit, which again takes away from the sustainability of it. Now, if you are not a very active person, so fairly sedentary, you struggle with sugar cravings and have high blood sugar or maybe prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, maybe a lower carb approach makes sense for you. But this is based on medical history, lab work, etc., and not determined by, the professional, air quotes, professionals' affinity for a certain diet. AKA, hopefully you're aware, if you hire, Keto Katie from Instagram, she's very likely to recommend a ketogenic diet because it works for her and therefore it should work for you. I don't think so. It really should be catered to the person. All right, let's review. So let's review the pyramid. And as I'm doing this, I would really love for you to kind of do a self-assessment here. So what are your strengths as far as the things that I'm mentioning here? What are the weaknesses when it comes to this approach? What can you do better? Could you be more consistent? Are you ready for a specific diet? Are you ready to use macros? Do you have a lot of these fundamentals already going in your favor? I hope so. But I'll also admit, for some clients, I feel that they're ready and they can start on multiple points of this at one time. But that's between me and them and, feeling out what they feel like they're ready for. Because a big thing with me is integrity. And if you say that you're going to do something, I really want you to do it. I want you to have that confidence in yourself of like, yeah, Allie, I'm going to go for a 15-minute walk every day. I want to see a walk every single day that next week, right? Just be realistic with what you want for yourself and do that thing. Don't, make big promises and then not follow through. That's how we fall off these things. And there's no falling off. We're just doing this. This is a lifestyle. So let's go through that pyramid with that in mind. So number 1, positive mindset, mindful eating. Number 2, drinking more water, getting enough sleep, go to bed on time. This is not sexy. I struggle with it myself, but go to bed. Number 3, stop eating when you're 80% full and move your body in some way every single day. 4, eat more whole foods, less ultra processed sugar and junk food. Number 5, exercising 3 to 5 times a week. Number 6, balance meals with protein, some vegetables, and a healthy fat. 7 is macros or macronutrients. This is protein, carbs, fat, calories, specific diets, therapeutic diets, keto, carnivore, vegan, etc. So that's the pyramid. Where are you at? All right, lastly, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast. Follow on Instagram and YouTube if you check out things there Allie.parksidenutrition. Free Shit Friday email, subscribe at parksidenutrition.com/subscribe. And if you have any questions or would like to submit a topic or question, please do email me, Allie@parksidenutrition.com, and put podcast topic in the subject line. I would love to hear from you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for listening.